Kellen, what have you seen from Arkansas's defense? It looks like a much improved unit. Obviously, they're very opportunistic early here in the season. What have you seen, Kellen?
I definitely think they've been playing really well, and I think it's one of those defenses that have been playing together as a full unit. Um, I think at times, across the country, you see, a lot of big time players and then some guys, but I think they play really well together, and within the scheme they do, and they execute really well. So it's definitely going to take a full game for us and a big time week of game planning to go in and play a big time game in the SEC.
Kellen, they've given up some rushing yards, and you've been able to really run it here and establish that run game very well. How important is the ground game in a matchup like this?
I think it's really a really key important piece, and I think one of the things that we've done really well over the past couple of weeks is that communication. Whether it's a checked run play or just we kind of line up in it, but the offensive line, and that chemistry that they continue to have, and also the communication that they continue to have, and also along with the receivers blocking downfield. So I think the whole run game has been, really well for us because we've had all those pieces and a lot of people being unselfish, and we got to continue to do that this week.
All right, let's go to Travis Brown for the Bryan College Station Eagle, and then Brent Zwerneman.
Hey, Kellen. Doing a little thing on Aaron Hansford. You're a guy that I believe threw some passes to him when he first came and then have gone against him on defense. Do you think he's been able to find a home at linebacker, and how surprised were you with how well he's been able to adjust to making that move in college?
I think definitely, from him being a receiver and tight end his first year and then making that transition to defense, we've always known about his athleticism and his playmaking ability, especially on the defensive end, and his speed. And for him to be able to kind of put it together this last year, and partially that's understanding the defensive scheme and understanding where you're supposed to be, and then also that whole entire defense playing unselfishly. But I think it's definitely been huge for him and seeing his transition and his maturity on and off the field. And it's no surprise to me that he's having a really good year, and he's a big time piece for us on the defense.
And is it always good as a teammate to see one of those kinds of stories where he's a guy that had two season-ending injuries and was able to come back and now be able to kind of see the benefit from that rehab work and everything that took to get back?
Yeah, I mean, I think those are, always big time, and just kind of the work that he's put in each and every year. Getting his body and mind right to play in the SEC, it's definitely been huge, and I only look for him to continue to grow and continue to get better in this defense as he continues to get more comfortable.
Appreciate it.
All right, let's move to Brent Zwerneman at the Houston Chronicle, and then Zach Taylor.
Kellen, it seems like you and Dan Moore have kind of grown up starting in this program together. Could you just speak to his growth and what it means for him to be protecting your blind side?
I mean, it's big time, and I think we were talking about it last week, but just looking back at our freshman year, me, I was kind of thrown into the fire, and then we didn't really have a true starting set offensive line. We had a lot of guys moving around. Carson Green, Colton Prater, Coda Martin, and just to see his role kind of evolve and him continue to grow and get better, and then continue to grow and have that knowledge, and for him to kind of put it together in this last year, his senior year, it was not a surprise to me, and I think he has the physical tools, and he's continually to grow mentally on and off the field, and I think he has a lot more room to grow, and I think he's going to continue to get better. And once he does that, it's not going to be any surprise to me. But I mean, he's playing tremendous this year, and but I mean, I still think he's going to get a lot better.
Did you like playing this game in Arlington in an NFL venue, and what do you think of it finally being on at your home campus?
I always liked the venue in Arlington, and we've always had some big time games there going back to my freshman year. A huge overtime game, and but I think everyone here will be excited to play in Kyle.
Thank you.
Next up is Zach Taylor from WTAW, and then Tyler Shaw.
Yeah, Kellen, you made mention of those close games up in Arlington. I mean, even before you arrived at A&M, there were a lot of really close games between the Aggies and the Razorbacks. So why do you think that is? Why do you think this is a game that always comes down to the wire?
I mean, it's just always been a big time game, and I can't tell you why exactly. They're always close games, but I feel like that's just the type of competition that's always in the SEC, and they've had really good teams in the past, and I think that their defense, I think it looks better to me, and just the chemistry that they have and the way they're playing. So I look for another big time game for both sides.
Thanks.
Let's go to Justin Woodard let's go to Tyler Shaw at KBTX, and then Justin Woodard.
Hey, Kellen, when you look at this Saturday's game, kind of unique playing on Halloween night and being back at home at Kyle Field. So what kind of excitement is there just around that aspect of the game?
I think, at least for me, and I would probably say for our team, all the excitement is around being able to come off this bye week and be able to play with each other and be able to play an SEC game. I'm not exactly too excited about playing on Halloween. To me, it's just another day, but I'm excited to get back on the field and get back to work with the group that I love.
All right, let's go to Justin Woodard and then Chip Howard.
Hey, Kellen, where do you feel the passing game is right now with your young receivers? Especially, I know it was a bummer. Caleb Chapman had such a big game against Florida to see him go down, but where do you think this passing game is minus Chapman now, and who can step up?
I think it's continuing to grow every week, and I think with Caleb Chapman going down, and then us getting a bye week this soon, able to get some guys back healthy, and then also continue to build that chemistry. So, I think we should get Hezekiah Jones back this week, and also start getting some of these younger guys going. And I think just continuing to build that chemistry. And I think having Hezekiah Jones back, giving some guys a breather, and just adding, I guess, just more depth to that receiver room, and also playmaking ability, I think is going to be big for us. But I'm excited about this week, and continue to grow with those guys, and I'm looking for them to have another big time week and game.
Just one quick follow-up on that. You always talk about trusting your eyes and trusting the throw, right? So you feel like that's needed in a bye week like that? I mean, I'm not saying you didn't trust them before, but do you feel your trust is growing in those guys?
No doubt, and I think in this offense where every the slightest details matter, and every angle of receiver can change based on what the defense gives us, and I think recognizing coverages mid-route is such a big thing in this offense, and so I think that we're continuing to grow every day, and like you said, that trust is definitely huge, and it's continuing to grow every day, every time that we practice.
Thanks, Kellen.
Our next up is Chip Howard from Sports Talk, and then Olin Buchanan.
If I could piggyback on that, what were the challenges early when you were losing those guys? Caleb went down. What for you personally? What are the biggest challenges in that receiving corps?
I mean, obviously you got to have a kind of who's up next mentality, and at first Cam Buckley went down, Jamon Osman. Hezekiah Jones went down for some time, and then Caleb Chapman, who was playing tremendous, especially came up big in that Florida game, went down. So at times it's been hard, but I think it's given other guys opportunities, and guys to kind of showcase their skills, and also some of those young guys have to grow up a lot quicker than they probably thought they would. But you've seen some guys grow up, I think, during the bye week. Damon Demas, I thought, had a really, really good bye week. Dalen Wright, I thought, had a really good bye week, and some of those other guys. But I think getting Chase Lane back going, and then Cam Brown and some of those other guys, Jalen Preston, and I think that was huge. So I definitely think the bye week came at a really good time for us.
Ideally, how long would it take to build the kind of chemistry you're looking for between quarterback and receiver?
I mean, I don't really know exactly a set number. I mean, I really couldn't tell you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, let's go to Owen Buchanan from Texags and then Robert Sesta.
Hi, Kellen. I'm sure you're aware Arkansas leads the nation, I think it is, in interceptions. Is that something that you think about a lot in your week of preparation, or is it something that, you just, it is what it is? It's really not anything that concerns you as you prepare for the game?
I mean, I think it's something to always be aware of, but, nothing that I guess scares me or concerns me. I think that Coach Fisher, he does a phenomenal job, game planning within the week and, understanding or, having an idea of what type of defense that they're going to be in, and also, calling the game aggressively, but also with great intelligence as we talk about. But, we always talk about just me being able to just trust my eyes and go through my progressions. And I think, this year I've been able to do that a lot better. And, I think the offensive line has played tremendous up to this week, and also the running backs being able to pick up blitzes. So, I mean, that doesn't really concern me, but, I mean, definitely something that, you got to give them credit for.
All right, thank you.
All right, let's go to Robert Sesta from the Bryan College Station Eagle and then Mike Lucas.
Kellen, you've had 2 home games with these smaller crowds. I was wondering, how much of a home field advantage do you feel you have this year at Cal Field with smaller crowds?
I definitely think that, the Florida game, I'm not exactly sure how, how much capacity we were at, but I definitely think it had an effect. And, some of those timeouts that they called at the end, and it definitely affected, that offense. So, I look forward to do the same thing this upcoming week for Arkansas. And, obviously it's not going to be 100%, but, any type of crowd noise can kind of disrupt and, affect the communication of the other team.
And following up on that, your 2 road games, you find it easier to play on the road now with COVID restrictions?
I mean, any type of crowd reduction is definitely makes it easier, but I think that's kind of a small portion. Still got to go up against that same exact defense, but I mean, the crowd definitely plays a huge factor.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, next up is Mike Lucas from KAGS and then Travis Brown.
Hey, Kellen. I was going to ask about your relationship with the receivers, but because that was already asked, I'll kind of change it up. How good do you think this offense as a whole has played through 4 games, and how much better can this unit still get?
I thought we've played really well, and, I think each week that we continue to critique ourselves and, look back on the film, just, how many plays were, left on the field, and just coming from whether it's chemistry or just, I guess, lack of focus, or just, missed throw or, missed route by, a couple of feet, and that can change a whole entire game. And, I think we played really well, but I think we have so much more room to grow and, a lot more potential. So I think that's big for us, but, it definitely starts, in the work week starting, Monday, and then throughout the week with, everything physical on the field and then mentally off the field.
Thank you.
All right, we've got 2 more questions on the queue. We'll go to Travis Brown from the Bryan College Station Eagle and then finish up with Sam Kahn.
Hey, Kellen, you mentioned enjoying playing at AT&T Stadium. When you go back to 2017, your first time there, that seemed to be kind of one of your big breakout games. Did it feel like that was maybe one of your breakout games of your career, and what do you remember of that game?
I mean, I definitely think it was, one of the breakouts, and just me continuing to get more comfortable back in the offense, playing with Christian Kirk and Damian Ratley, and then, having that opportunity to go to overtime and then throwing a big-time, game-winning pass to Christian Kirk was definitely huge. something I remember very vividly. And but I mean, definitely one of the big time plays that I've had in my career.
Do you still think or talk about that long run that got called back? Does anybody tease you about that anymore? Or is that old news now?
I mean, it's old news, but I mean, they definitely robbed me of a touchdown.
And then does this Arkansas series have a little bit of special meaning to you or anything because of some of those big games that you've had?
I mean, I think every game is special and every game is big. I mean, this is definitely one of the games that has always been kind of close, and you know, we've won the last 8 times, but you know, we're not trying to slip up this time. And like I said, it's going to take a great week of practice and detail and focus, and but you know, I think we'll be ready.
All right, we'll finish up with Sam Kahn from ESPN.com.
Hey, Kellen, is your 3rd year in this offense? I'm curious, as you sit here middle of senior year, where do you feel like you've come the furthest in getting the grasp of this offense, and where do you still want to improve?
You know, I think, you know, over quarantine and over this off season, you know, I took a huge evaluation on myself, and you know, just me being a critic of myself and understanding that, you know, after my junior season, you know, I had to grow, for myself to, you know, feel a lot better, and then also, you know, for us to improve as a whole entire team and offense, and you know, that's just on the field play and also leadership wise. So I studied a lot of, you know, different quarterbacks in the NFL, you know, just different schemes and just understanding defenses a lot more, and I think that's a large improvement that I made in my game, just understanding defenses more, and you know, and that kind of translates over to within the week, and just understanding these teams' defenses and allowing me to play faster and trust in my eyes. You know, I still think there's definitely, you know, you watching the games, a couple of plays that, you know, I wish that I could have back, and that just comes back to my fundamentals and me just being and playing fast and trusting my eyes every play. So, you know, I think that's something that, you know, corrections that I made, you know, coming into this bye week and understanding that those are the things that I needed to correct, and you know, so those were things that I focused on this bye week, and hopefully I can translate that on the field this week into the game.
Thank you.
All right, Kellen, that's all the questions we have for you. Good
Appreciate
work.
it.
Thank you.